Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Pocket Jacks. This hand, 5NL, folds around small blind, who limps, and I raise. So his limping range going to be hard to judge. We have 146 hands on him. He's playing 26-8, so it looks to be a little bit loose passive. You can see overall, he's played 24% on the button, 56% on the cutoff. Small blind, 22%. Big blind, 33%. He doesn't have any raise first in stat, so 0 out of 2, so he hasn't attempted to steal at all. Also doesn't have a limp. This is the second time he's been in the situation, and the first time that he's actually called it. So I'm going to say he probably doesn't have premiums. So jacks plus ace queen, with the 8% preflop raise stat, I'm going to assume he's going to raise at least that. I think it's going to be pairs. I think it's going to be weaker suited cards. Maybe he has the offsuit connectors. Maybe he has all of the aces down here. That's 30. Let's give him that. I have an ISO raise again. Jacks are in my always ISO. I am currently trying to increase my VPIP. So, and try to get myself into some close spots, because I think playing live I have to give action to get action. I'm seem like I'm way too tight in a lot of those games, so I'm gonna use this range as my ISO range, raising range. So I raised the 4, which I think is okay. We could probably go to 5 if we wanted to, but we're making the bet. Do I think he calls with everything? That's tough to say. I'm going to say yes, because it's only 3 more, and I think players will look at this and say, well, it's only 3 more. Let me call, see the flop. So I'm going to keep 100% of his range going forward. Flop comes out 7-4-5 with 2 hearts. We do have the jack of hearts, so we've got a backdoor flush draw. We have our overpair. Villain checks. I think he's going to probably check everything. And then his fold to c-bet out of position is 50%, 71%. I think we can make an argument for checking here. The chances that he connected here, it will be pretty low. Against a thinking player, I would probably bet again with my jacks, because he's not going to be giving me credit for connecting with this board at all. So I think when we look at my range, I think we're betting our set. I think we're betting with our overpair. I think we're probably betting with our top pair. I think our flush draw can be bet. All of our open enders and gut shots could be bet. Let's get this color coded. These middle pairs and bottom pairs are questionable. We could add them if we wanted to. As far as our overcards, I think the overcards that we're betting are going to be the clubs, the backdoor, 2-card backdoor flush draws. That is a pair, that's a pair. That's a gut shot. Yeah, I guess probably all of those. I think we'll be somewhat aggressive with our betting. Not sure if I like any of the checks. I guess we could be tricky with it, but check raise is going to be hard to balance with a good hand. So our draws are going to be hard to balance with good hands when we check. So I just feel like we've got so many other betting hands that we're just going to be betting everything that we want to continue playing. And that's 55%. I think there's quite a few cards that we're just going to be checking behind. and just to see what develops. So I bet half pot, and villain calls. So what is he calling with? I think he could be calling with everything here, probably any of the pairs. I'm going to give him all of the draws, which is 60%. 60%. So my range is still ahead. 9 of hearts. Not the prettiest. I think I could see 7-6. I could see 5-6 calling. 7-8 could have called. So still they have a pair. Obviously, if they have a 7, they can't have suited 7-6. Could have a 5-6 of hearts. That is a possibility, where they've just now caught the flush. Ace-X of hearts. But you know, when he checks, what do I think he's going to check? I think he's probably going to be checking everything, and now it's on us. We still have an overcard. I think at this point we could say, if we bet, what's going to call? I think all of the hearts are going to call. I think all the flushes are going to call. I think if I bet, I don't think sets are going to check raise anymore. I think if we bet and get raised, we're going to have to fold. I think we're up against that nut flush probably, or like the king high flush. I don't think queen jack, queen 10, jack 10 would raise. Would he call with those middle pairs? So what we're looking for is, we don't want a queen, king, or ace to come to beat us, and I think those are the only cards that we're really afraid of. I mean, heart gives us the heart draw. Do we want a heart draw? It's tough to say. So I think we're going to probably continue. I think we're going to be betting. We're going to be changing what I perceive as value and bluffs. So I think these middle pairs, the 7s, are going to be bluffs. These lower pairs are going to be bluffs. I think we're probably betting our flush draws, ace, king, queen. Well, I think those are all include our pairs. Yeah, the over pairs. Not all of them. Not sure if we're doing all of our gut shots either. I mean, it's a pretty balanced range. We had a lot. I think we still bet because we're hoping maybe 6 folds with a lot of these hands, with a lot of these drawing hands. We're hoping maybe a 6 folds, maybe like 7-8 folds, or 2-3 folds. No, not really 2-3. We're looking at the pairs: 5-6, 7-6, maybe 6-4 if he has it, a 4-3. We're hoping he folds those so we can pick him up as our bluff. So I think that's going to be my betting range, and I feel like we're off. And then, does he just call? He does. So I think straights and sets are definitely in his range. We'll leave all of the flushes in his range. Flush draw, we're going to give him the open ender, and I think that's it. Something like this. I think we're still ahead. I think those middle pairs are still covering us, or saving us. 3 clubs hits. That is not good. That's not good for us. I think that connects with all of, any of the 6s that he could have called, and he could have called. And I'm also looking at like maybe 7-8 could have called too. 9-8 is a possibility. He checks, so I discount the flush. We can say 50% of the time, I expect him to be betting the flush to try to get some value. I think the straight's going to check. I think all of those are going to check. All of those better hands are going to check. And his weaker hands. If I bet, what does he call with? I really only think he calls with like overpair plus. Maybe 9-8. Maybe I get some of those low percentages. I think the middle pair is just going to fold. So if we do this, let's check our Equilab. I think that's his range. And then we've got our 2 jacks. And then flop. 7 of hearts, 4 of hearts, 5 of clubs. 9 of hearts on the turn. 3 clubs. Yeah, I think up against a range that I think he's going to call with. If called, I'm at about 30%. That's with those hands, with the middle pair. I think he doesn't do that. Those middle pairs. Let's see what we have here. Clear that out. Yep, 10% there. So when he checks, I think we just check behind. I get against the range that I think he'd call with. I don't think we could get a little bit of value if we think he's calling with those middle pairs, but I don't think so. So we show jacks. He shows ace-5. Ace-5 is on there. That's one of those weak pairs that he had. He did call, and it kind of makes sense. He had the ace of hearts here. The question is, if I bet again, does he call? No, I think he calls first because he has a pair, and again, it's unlikely that I've connected with the pot or connected with the flop, so he calls there. That's fine. On the turn, I think his call makes sense. He has a pair and he has the ace of hearts. So if I'm just betting again with let's say king, queen, king, jack, he still has me beat with that. Once that 3 comes, if I fire out a third bet, I think he's going to look at that and say, okay, you must have something. You must have a pair or something like that. Maybe you're bluffing. Who knows? I'll just fold. So he's done this with ace-9, ace-5. This is ace-5. So overall, I think this was okay. I think my thought process was okay in the sand. I won it. I don't think I could have gotten value on the river, and I think I got most value that I could get from the sand. So getting the bet on the flop, getting the bet on the turn. What we didn't discuss is the bet sizing. So I did half pot on the flop, half pot on the turn. I might have been able to size up to about 12 or 13 big blinds here and probably still get the call, get more money in there, knowing that he's probably going to call with all of his range. So everything that I have here that I think he's going to call with, he's probably going to call again for 2/3, and maybe that's the way that we get some extra value out of this hand. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you do, look tomorrow for another hand.